Welcome back to Lessons from the Front, and in today's game I'll be playing against Rahim's German reinforced platoon with my Soviets at his shop Expedimix in Katong. Hey Rahim!
Hello Eugene, how are you?
Now that you've met Rahim, let me introduce you to the army he fielded. A 6-order die 750-point German reinforced platoon consisting of a 5-man motorcycle squad, a second lieutenant, a sniper team, a team of 6 rifles, a Wirbelwind, and a Puma. My 750-point Soviet reinforced platoon had 9 order dice and consisted of a BA-10 armored car, a squad of 12 rifles, that's the free squad, an LMG squad, it had 2 LMGs, an anti-tank gun, 75mm, a sniper team, a second lieutenant, an assault engineer flamethrower team with body armor, a squad of dog mines, and a motorcycle squad. Our table represented an important crossroads in Pomerania, 1945. The 5 buildings of this village offering the only hard cover on the table. Vehicles were not permitted to pass through linear obstacles, and wheeled vehicles had to take bogging tests once they had entered fields. Rahim and I chose the mission Meeting Engagement. So our objective was quite simple: eliminate the enemy. Initially, both Rahim and I advanced infantry squads onto the table under cover of buildings and tree lines, as we were both unsure of where each other's main weapons would be advancing from. As the order dice were being drawn one by one, I was really hoping that Rahim's big guns would come out first, his Wirbelwind or at least his Puma. So I've been holding back on my anti-tank gun and armored car, but eventually I had no choice. So my armored car had moved up down the road to take up a position that would hopefully have an opportunity to fire its guns. And then with my anti-tank gun being a fixed weapon, I moved it into the woods at the bottom of the table, hoping to have arcs of fire down the road and across to the right across the fields. And, as expected, no sooner had I committed my BA-10 to the table, Rahim responded by moving his mighty Wirbelwind against it. "Put her in gear, driver!" Lieutenant Rahim barked into his mic. "Los, los, los! Go, driver!" "Achtung, Gunner! I see Ivan! 100 meters to your front! Take aim! Fire!" And with that, Rahim's Wirbelwind's 8 shots tore into my armored car, leaving the BA-10 a burning wreck. I responded with my AT gun, opening fire, but my rounds just bounced off the relatively thick armor of his Wirbelwind. Darn it! "Gunner! Traverse 30 degrees left! Ivan's AT gun, it's in the woods! Take aim! Give them hell!" With my armored car knocked out and my AT gun pinned and not at full strength after a terrible mauling from that monster of a Wirbelwind, Rahim ordered his Puma into action. It was closely supported by a team of motorcyclists, I was beginning to feel the heat in the center. At this point, things were not looking good for my Soviets. To counter Rahim's powerful thrust against my center, I first attempted to distract him on his left flank by bringing on my own motorcycle squad that had been waiting patiently in reserve. But the Puma turned on them and viciously raked their ranks with machine gun fire, forcing them to withdraw. However, in the process, the Puma had exposed its flank against my assault engineers, who then pressed forward and used their Panzerfaust against the side of the Puma. Unfortunately for me, even this attack failed, with the Panzerfaust sailing harmlessly over the Puma's hull. Rahim's Wirbelwind then used its HE rounds to decimate my engineers, who were wiped out to a man. With my assault engineers eliminated and my armored car destroyed, and both my AT gun and motorcycle squad desperately holding on, Rahim was in full control of the center of the table. So it was that I pushed hard at Rahim's right flank. With a large squad of inexperienced rifles and the well-equipped veteran LMG squad, I had the numbers on him. I moved aggressively against Rahim's sniper, with my veterans easily overwhelming the sniper's position. My inexperienced squad were all armed with anti-tank grenades, so as they approached, Rahim began to withdraw his Wirbelwind. Lieutenant Rahim, wanting to assess the situation in the center, cautiously moved towards the crossroads, unaware of the danger posed by my sniper lurking in a nearby building. Lieutenant Bergerov signaled to the marksman, and Lieutenant Rahim was no more. The tide of battle had begun to turn. Although my Soviets had begun to gain the upper hand on my left flank, Rahim's Germans still controlled the center of the table. However, it was the use of my dog mine teams that would finally blunt Rahim's thrust at the crossroads. With the dogs being held back in ambush all game, their handlers unleashed their explosive carrying canines, who dashed towards the Puma, and in an almighty explosion, the German heavy armored car was immobilized, its turret jammed uselessly out of action. With neither Rahim nor I having a clear 2-order dice advantage, the game ended in an action-filled, tense draw. Right, so Rahim, did you enjoy that game? Did you enjoy that game?
It was a tense game.
Yeah.
At the start, I kind of enjoyed it because there were lots of covers. So
Yeah.
moving in, sneaking around. My Puma and the Wirbelwind were at a disadvantage at the start.
What?
No, but I have to get them close. There were hedgerows, it's hedgerow health. Remember, we were playing. So
I'll tell you what, guys, if you want a dynamic weapon, that Wirbelwind,
yeah.
8 dice.
Oh, but it's open top though. It's actually
it was
it's open top,
yeah.
and you were running a BA6 armored car.
Yeah.
So it is quite safe on my Wirbelwind.
Yeah, a bit of a mismatch.
Unless if you are bringing a T84,
Yeah.
then my Wirbelwind will be in trouble.
Yeah.
So other than that, I am good.
I mean, that Wirbelwind caused me so many problems.
I call the Wirbelwind the infantry killer.
Yeah. And my army was pretty much infantry, and you were just smashing me. Even my vet armored assault
the
troops.
Wirbelwind has a +2 to the armor, so
Yeah.
every shot, 8 shots, gives it a penetration of +2, and at the same time, each shot creates a 1-inch HE high explosive template.
So what can we learn from that then, Rahim?
Run away from the Wirbelwind when you see one.
All right. So one lesson to learn from this game is
when you see
when there's a Wirbelwind with lots of pointy sticks.
Yes, run away.
Steer clear with your infantry.
Anyway, the Wirbelwind was actually meant for the. It is from the flag from the flag gun. So they took the flag cannon and mount it on a Panzer IV.
Yeah, so it gives it a decent armor as well.
It gives a decent
especially
armor.
at platoon level.
So in terms of the Wirbelwind is a hit and miss thing. If you are lucky to fail, because we did not discuss your list building and my list building. I did not know
what he was bringing.
So I didn't know that you were going to bring a BA6. I just let's try the Wirbelwind. It's just going to be the infantry killer in this game. That's why the Puma was there. The Puma was supposed to take out your tank. You don't have a tank.
No.
He did not bring a tank.
So
he brought an anti-tank gun.
My two anti-tank guns. One was on the BA10, and the other one was the 45mm anti-tank gun. Both only had a penetration of 4. Your front armor with the Wirbelwind 9, right?
9 all round.
9, right.
No, sorry. The rear armor would be 8, and the side would be the rear armor would be 7. The side would be 8. The side would be 8.
So even though I hit him with my penetration of 4, I'm still going to need 5 6s to hurt you. So it's a bit of a mismatch.
There wasn't any real. You can only give me pins.
So I guess another lesson I've learned from this game is that if you're going to bring a slightly larger army, ensure that you have something that can take out enemy tanks.
You have to plan for tank encounter. You did not. You did plan for it, I believe so. But you did not plan how to move that anti-tank.
What did you think about those dogs?
Yes, I did not. I did not expect those dogs. I thought they were normal infantrymen hiding behind there. Even when I was at the side there watching on the side, hey, you got men down there, and up till then, you did not even tell me that those are dogs.
I wanted the surprise.
So I was like, okay, those are men hiding. Okay, but they can't really hurt me, because it was a Puma, and that's the nearest thing. And my motorcycles, they can just wreck you out. Both of them can wreck you out. So when you tell me, that's why I was confident in moving my Puma upwards. I must say, I was hoping it would do a lot more damage with those tank mines. What are those things called? Dog mines. I was expecting a massive explosion. All I did was disable your Puma, immobilize it, and jam the turret, right? What was the... Oh yeah, okay. This is different from the Japanese lunch miners. So the Japanese suicide attackers. The Japanese suicide attackers, they have a +7 to their lunch stick mines. So for the dog mines, it's only a +. No, so 5. The dog mines, I had a roll, and if I rolled a 1, any friendly stationary vehicles would be damaged. Because you can't control the dogs. Otherwise, I needed a 4, 5, or 6 to penetrate you, I think. If they added a fuba element for the dogs, because the dogs, they can run under the vehicles. They can run through your own vehicles. They can't recognize friendly vehicles sometimes. But for the Japanese ones, they had higher penetration value, and they are regular soldiers, so that they know who to identify, so we can't go fuba on them. I think Rahim and I both love dogs, so we won't play that too often. Aristides, you were watching the game. Any thoughts?
Any
thoughts on the tense moments?
I can tell it was tense. I don't play a lot of. We can't remember the name of the game.
Action.
Bolt Action.
The best game.
I do play a lot of war games, and Rahim has been bringing me in. I have my army that's not done yet. But I could tell it was tense. I was like, I didn't understand why he was so tense. I've seen him play, and I've played against him. The things that kind of the terrain here, the terrain that Rahim has at this store is incredible.
That's for sure.
I do half-ass, and he's like, no, it's not good enough. He takes it and improves it. But in terms of the game, a couple of things that I really thought was interesting is your very large infantry army, because I'm trying to do the same thing, so it was fun for me to watch this. But the area of that kind to me that turned the game was when his Puma was facing, I think your guys that came on the motorcycles,
Yeah.
facing right at him and rolled very poorly, just not to wipe him off the list. Just
Because that could have been an order dice, right?
yes, that could have been just gone. They're all out.
Yeah.
And he really had to think about when he wanted his guy in and out from the Pendle mount, so he didn't give your troops easy shots to take people out.
Yeah.
He was constantly thinking about, am I firing the Pendle mount gun or am I not going to fire it?
And he took out the sniper. I forgot all about his sniper, and he took out my officer. I think you were right.
That was the turn to me. It seemed like a very innocuous last shot. It was nice how he pulled it out. Everyone had kind of forgotten when he opened up sniper.
Yeah.
And your guy had cover, but not complete cover. Rolled the 6. Done. And one thing, the quality of paint jobs you guys both had. I mean, I'm not even a Padawan. I'm a learner.
No. You'll get there.
You'll get there, yeah. That's very kind.
Outstanding.
I will drill you down.
Oh, thanks,
Give it
Australis.
real
That's some good input.
All right.
Right,
Take
cheers,
care.
guys. Take care.
All right.